What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to another video, Axe Entertainment. I'm your host, Zack Axe. I'm bringing you another edition of WWE Weekly Awards. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Zach, we're about to have we just had a Monday Night Raw tonight, most likely, by the time you're watching this. And you haven't uploaded in the last 2 weeks. What is happening? Now I have a lot of things going on in my life. I'll explain it to you guys at the end of the video so we can get right into the awards, and then stick around if you guys want to know a little bit about everything. So yeah, let's get right into the awards. We're going to do 11-24 to 11-28, and then we're going to do 12-1 to 12-5. Starting with 11-24 to 11-28, we're going to do male MVP. Now for male MVP, of course, real quick, we're going to fly through a lot of these awards because I want to get most of them out real quick for you guys. I don't want to sit here and ramble. So for male MVP, I'm going to give honorable mentions to LA Knight and Gunther for winning their matches in the Last Time Is Now tournament. But I'm going to give this award to Miles Bourne from NXT, and that is because Miles Bourne picked up a win over one of the perennial main eventers on NXT. So while Gunther beat Melo and LA beat Miz, I think Miz definitely is one of the best of all time, of course, but in this day and age, beating the Miz, anybody can do it, right? So I had to give this award to Miles Bourne because he beat Trick Williams. Trick Williams is one of the perennial, like I said, main eventers of NXT during Gold Rush Week 2. And in the main event, Miles Bourne picked up a huge win over him, so I think it was pretty easy to give this award to him since Trick Williams is one of the best in NXT, and Miles Bourne is up and coming and picked up a win over him. Next up, I'm going to give out female MVP. Now, female MVP was a little bit hard because there was 2 women's championship matches on NXT with new champions. I'm going to give honorable mention to Kendall Gray, Charlotte Flair, and the new women's speed champion Fallon Henley. But I am going to give this award to Li Ying Lee, formerly Xia Li in NXT and WWE there for a little bit. But she picked up a huge win, knocking off both Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace in a triple threat women's TNA World Championship match on NXT. It was a huge win. I'm not the biggest fan of Xia Li or Ying. No, great. Now I sound racist because I can't talk. I'm not the biggest fan of her at the end of the day, but she looked really good in this match. It was a very, very good competitive match, and she takes the title back to TNA, taking it away from another NXT person, Kalani Jordan. Next one I'm going to give out is Team of the Week. Now for Team of the Week's honorable mention, I'm going to have one for the MFTs because they picked up the traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match up against Sammy, Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke, and Rey Fenix. And they're really close to winning this award, but I kind of felt like I had to give this award to the team of Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, who on Monday Night Raw beat the Usos. Now, I think the team of Sammy, Motor City Machine Guns, Rey Fenix, and Shinsuke is a very impressive win for the MFTs. And it was a 5-on-5 and everything, you know. But I don't think it was as big of a win as beating the Usos. You know, we have a World Heavyweight Champion, United States Champion, or he wasn't US Champion, Intercontinental Champion, I mean. 9-time whatever tag team champions in this pairing, and Drew and Logan picked up a huge win over him. I love that it was Drew and Logan being in this team too, since they were teammates up against Jelly Roll and Randy Orton at SummerSlam. So teaming up once again to take on the Usos and picking up a win over the Usos here, I had to give them this award. Next one I'm going to give out is Promo of the Week. Now get this, for honorable mentions for Promo of the Week goes to nobody because there was not a single good promo on any of the shows in ring. And that's why the winner of this is going to be a guy that's won this award like 3 or 4 times. When we come to the year of weekly awards and we see who has the most of everything, I think John Cena and this man, Ricky Sainz, is going to be pretty much tied for Promo of the Week winners because he had a great backstage promo in NXT during Gold Rush Week 2. He just flipped everything. He, kind of doubted himself, and he was talking about how much he doubts himself and how he doesn't know if he can really beat Obafemi. And then he just flipped all of that and turned it into, I know I can beat Obafemi. I will beat Obafemi. Obafemi cannot beat me because, he already did at No Mercy. So Ricky Sainz had a very good promo in NXT, and nobody else did anywhere else at all. So, yeah, Ricky Sainz. Last one I'm going to give out for week number 1 that we're going to do is Match of the Week. Now for honorable mentions for Match of the Week, I'm going to give it to the TNA Women's Triple Threat we just talked about, the 5-on-5 that we also just talked about, and then Rey Mysterio versus JD McDonough was very good on Monday Night Raw. Match of the Week is going to go to Carmelo Hayes versus Gunther. This is like just another one of those Javon Evans versus Gunther matches where it's like kind of like a generational clash, like you haven't seen this before, or if you did, it wasn't like this. And they had a very, very good match. Carmelo Hayes was absolutely cooking up some crazy stuff. He looked absolutely great. And Carmelo Hayes looked like he's finally kind of getting a push. He beat Bronson Reed and he pushed Gunther to his limit. So let's continue to push Carmelo Hayes upwards, even though the next week on Smackdown we did something else. But let's continue to push Carmelo Hayes upwards towards a mid-card title, or even skipping the mid-card title and going right to the main event, because I think he is just that good. But this match between Gunther and Carmelo was easily the best match of the week. We had some other good matches, like I said, but this match takes the cake. So let's go ahead and get into the second week, which is going to be 12-1 to 12-5. While we're on the topic of him, let's go ahead and do male MVP, give honorable mention to LA Knight, but it is going to go to Gunther. And that is because, you know, he beat Carmelo Hayes on the week before this. So, yeah, he got into the semifinals. Well, within the span of 1 week, on Monday Night Raw, Gunther knocks off Solo Sikoa in a very good match. And then on Friday Night SmackDown, Gunther knocks off LA Knight. LA Knight and Solo Sikoa, both guys that have never been world champion, but both guys that have been in the world championship scene for a very long time. And Gunther just beat both of them in the same week. So this was a very, very easy pick for me. Gunther was easily going to win this award as soon as he beat LA Knight. So, yeah, he's definitely going to be male MVP. But that's not the only thing he's winning this week, because let's get into match of the week, where honorable mentions are going to go to Melo versus Ilya, which, like I said, Melo did not win that match, which sucked. The New Day versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Fatal Influence versus Sol Ruca, Lola Vice, and I keep wanting to say Skylar Grey. Skylar Grey, not Skylar Grey. Freaking Kendall Grey. And then, honestly, We're Not Friends, Flair and Bliss versus Rio would have won this award if that match didn't end in DQ, because that match was absolutely phenomenal, but it ended in DQ, so I couldn't give it this award. I am going to end up giving the award to Solo Sikoa versus Gunther, and this match really wins this award for the fact that I did not think these guys were going to have a good match at all. I feel like it was supposed to be Penta versus Gunther here, and this match was just always going to be kind of, let's just get Gunther to the next round because Solo's not supposed to be here in the first place. That's not what it was. It ended up being a competitive, very good, hard-hitting match. And Solo Sikoa is one of those guys that I just feel like Gunther would never work well with, but he worked very, very exponentially good with him, and they both looked absolutely phenomenal. They both came out of this match looking like $1,000,000. Even though Solo lost, he looked great. And Gunther cheating to win was a little bit but besides that, this match was absolutely great. It was amazing. And like I said, I don't think it was as good as Flair and Bliss versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, but that match ended in DQ, so this match had a plus 100 on it, you know. So I had to give this award to Solo versus Gunther. Next, we got another quick one in female MVP. Honorable mentions are going to go to Jade Cargill and Thea Hale, but I'm going to give this award to Alexa Bliss. She picked up a win over Kairi Sane, and that's like the most impressive women's single victory that we had all week. So, yeah, not a lot of great action in the women's single division, which we actually will talk about in the discussion period, but Alexa Bliss is going to win this award for knocking off Kairi Sane, which I think is a bigger threat than Alba Fire and Adriana Grace. Next up, we have promos, and I think this might be a first ever in Weekly Awards history, and I'll tell you what I mean in a second. Honorable mentions for promo of the week is going to go to Cody Rhodes and Liv Morgan. But Gunther, right? He won Match of the Week and he won Male MVP. Well, Solo Sikoa is also winning 2 awards this week with Match of the Week and Promo of the Week. So I say this might be a first time ever because I don't think anybody else in the history of Weekly Awards, 2 people have won 2 separate awards on the same week. And that's what's happening this week. Like I said, Gunther and Solo. Solo's promo was very quick, very to the point, but I loved it. It was great. Solo Sikoa with the line that really got a lot of people was everything that was his, talking about Bray Wyatt, and that is now yours, is going to be mine. And that was a very, very good line, but the best line of the promo was definitely, you do not deserve the name Wyatt. That was, And then he ends it with, all you have to do is Bo Leave, which is, of course, Bo Dallas. Before he was Uncle Howdy, that was Bo Dallas's catchphrase. All you have to do is Bo Leave. And so he brought up the old catchphrase. He didn't diss Bray Wyatt, but he brought up Bray Wyatt. And he even told Uncle Howdy he doesn't deserve the name Wyatt. So the build right now for this is great, and I hope we get something out of it. What I mean by that is I don't want just a regular match randomly on SmackDown. This is a pay-per-view level match. Save this for the Royal Rumble. Save this for a pay-per-view, a PLE, even Saturday Night's Main Event would be an okay place for this. Not this one coming up, of course, but like the one after that. I'm sure there's got to be one in January, I'm sure. I wish this match had already happened and ended up happening at War Games, and we just got somebody else for the Wyatts. Maybe Braun Strowman, could come back for a one-off and team with the Wyatts to take on, the MFTs. This whole storyline has got me very intrigued. I think it's going to be very fun. It's going to be very fun to see who the last member of the Wyatts is going to be, because they got to find somebody to help them take on the MFTs, because I don't think Nikki Cross is going to wrestle against them, but This whole feud has me excited, and I hope they don't squander it like they did with the Miz, Karrion Kross, and AOP versus the Wyatt Six feud. I hope we have a very good feud here. Last one I'm going to give out is Team of the Week. Now, honorable mentions for Team of the Week is going to go to Leon Slater, Miles Bourne, Javon Evans, and Joe Hendry, who teamed up on NXT. AJ Lee and/or Phenomenally. I think they should be called Phenomenally. I think that'd be a better name than whatever they said they were going to go by, something Dragons or something. I like Phenomenally. The honorable mention is also going to go to Out the Mud, but we're going to give this award to a dream team of Soruka, Lola Vice, and I almost said it again. I almost said Skylar Grey. Why is Skylar Grey on my mind right now? I'm about to lose my mind. You've been gone for so long. I'm running out of time. I need a doctor. Soruka, Lola Vice, and Kendall Gray are winning this award because this is one of those teams where it's just very good talent thrown together. The men, with Leon Slater, Evans, Hendry, and Bourne, were very close to winning this award, but when I thought about it for a second, which dream team had the better win overall, while they just beat the NXT Tag Team Champions, this team beat not only the Women's Speed Champion, which doesn't mean very much, but the Women's NXT Champion was pinned in this match by Soruka, which I think is great because Soruka needs to move up. I think she needs to be done with the North American title. I think the only stop Soruka should have, whether she wins the Iron Survivor or not, which has already happened, it was yesterday, but I have not watched it yet. But if Soruka does win the Iron Survivor match, then she needs to have one stop with Zarya. That should be a quick feud, and then head into New Year's Evil and go fight JC Jane. Or if she doesn't win, she needs to fight Zarya, and then she needs to fight the winner of JC Jane versus whoever wins the Iron Survivor. So this team overall was just very good. Lola Vice showing off, Soruka showing off, and Kendall Gray continuing to prove that she is an up-and-comer that is doing great. So this team easily had to win the award. Why am I so bad right now? Let's get into some topics. A couple topics to start off with. Let's go ahead and talk about how Zarya and Soruka started fighting at the end of NXT. Their match, at the end of NXT. And so Zarya came out looking to spear maybe Soruka, maybe Kendall Gray. You can't really tell which one. But I think she was going for Kendall Gray. But then we started to get a shoving match between Zarya and Soruka, and I think this is going to be very interesting. I've been really saying that they just need to go ahead and break them up for so long, but I think I'm okay with the fact that we did it a little bit slower. Now we can get into it and really enjoy the feud that's coming. The slow breakup, it works sometimes, and I'm really excited for it. So like I said, once we get with the Iron Survivor winner and/or Soul, we need to get into that feud with Soul and Zarya right after. On Monday Night Raw, Penta suffered an injury 2 weeks ago, going for Hurricanrana on Gunther. He just looks like he either tore his shoulder out of place or something bad happened where he couldn't compete anymore. And the frustration on Penta's face, you could almost tell that Penta was supposed to win this match. I do not think Penta was going to go all the way. I think Penta was most likely going to lose to Gunther in the next round, but I do think Penta was going to beat Solo Sikoa here. So still a little bit of push and confidence for Penta there that he wasn't able to follow through with because of the injury. So speedy recovery Penta. It really sucks too because he just he was teaming up with Rey Fenix on AAA. The Lucha Brothers back together again, and it was really exciting for everybody, and this just couldn't come at a worse time. So speedy recovery to Penta. Cero miedo. This one's a real quick one. Dominic Mysterio beat up Psycho. If you guys see those videos, I've never actually watched them wrestle, but if you watch the videos on TikTok of what are they called? Is it micro wrestling? Is that what's called, micro wrestling? And they always do the roll calls where it's like, roll calls, who is our favorite wrestler? And you'd be like, it's Psycho, it's this guy. That was him. That was Psycho. Being little John Cena, having little Stu was hilarious too. And then little John Cena gets the crap beat out of him, which, it's kind of funny because it reminded me of Big Cass right away. How when we had a little person come out to be Daniel Bryan and have a face-off with Big Cass wasn't supposed to beat him up, but Big Cass did beat him up and got in trouble. Well, Dominic Mysterio went all out on another little person here, and I'm sure that was planned. So just kind of funny to think about. But Dominic Mysterio, that was probably one of my favorite things Dominic Mysterio's ever done. Last thing in the topic section is going to be the women's tag team titles, why I love it and why I hate it right now. So at the end of Raw, we had the women's tag team title match between Rio and We're Not Friends. We had the Kabuki Warriors coming out to beat them up, and then we had Bayley and Lyra coming out to beat them up, and then we had the Judgment Day coming out to beat them up, and then on Friday Night Smackdown we have Lash Legend and Nia Jax coming to beat them up. So as fun as this is, and as great as it is that they're finally making the women's tag team titles matter, I think they're doing a little bit too much at the same time. And I know it's going to sound like, I'm contradicting myself, because I always say I want them to do something with the women's tag division. But I also always say they should just get rid of it, because I think they need to focus on the women's singles, especially now that there is, not only the main, but the mid-card. And speaking of that, we have the main and the mid-card, and who do we have to go after it? Because every woman is in a team right now. Even Julia, the last women's U.S. title, is in a team with, why'd I forget her name? Kiana James. B-Fab is in a team with Michin for some reason. So who do we have to fight Jade Cargill right now besides Tiffany Stratton, who is obviously not around right now? Who do we have on Friday Night Smackdown besides Michin or B-Fab to just have terrible squash matches with her? Nobody. Except for Julia, who, like I said, is in the tag team, will probably end up getting thrown in the tag team ranks. And then you look over to Monday Night Raw. Who do you have to take on Stephanie? Nikki Bella 100 times again? We know we can do that, run that match back 3 more times, and maybe by then we'll have, more women to fight Stephanie. Who do we have for Chelsea? Nobody. That's why Chelsea's on NXT every week, creating her own feuds down there instead of on the main roster fighting somebody who deserves the shot. So who do we have for the Women's Intercontinental Champion? Maxine. Who do we have? Becky? AJ? Oh, they're feuding with each other. How are they going to end up fighting for it? Ivy Nile, that's who we have. I love Ivy Nile. It's just like, that's all you got, That's all you got. You got Ivy. And if that feud ends sooner rather than later, who do you have? Nobody, because they're all in the women's tag division, which is okay, but I would rather have an Ivy Nile or a Maxine Dupree or these people in the women's tag division while we have feuding for the women's IC title, Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, if that makes sense. But I get we're trying something different. I love that Maxine is IC champion. I love that we're using these titles to propel other talent than just main eventers already. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. But I think they're stretching themselves very, very thin when they have 5 different titles for the women, and they have all of them locked into one, while the other 4 are just going to kind of sit there and have one feud, take 3 matches probably. So we'll have to see. Maybe it'll end up being better than I think, but it's just kind of, one of those things. So that's all I have for you guys right now. If you guys want to know, it's going to be very quick where I've been, why I haven't been uploading TikToks or YouTube very often, is because in one of my videos you heard me say we're moving. In my last video you probably saw the boxes behind me, and now I have a new setup in the same room, but the difference is there's boxes all around me. That is because we were supposed to be moving. We went to go get into the house pretty much, and it turned into a nightmare. Everything that could be wrong with the house ended up being wrong with the house. So right now we are stuck. We're just kind of, me and my girlfriend are struggling to, do everything. And we have Christmas coming up, so we're trying to work on Christmas while we're also trying to get a house, while we're also trying to do this and that, while we're living in a house that's already boxed up for the most part. Most of the house is boxed up. Like I said, I have boxes all around me because we were supposed to be moving, and here we are, still here for the foreseeable future. So videos most likely be coming from right here for now on until I get moved out or we find a house. But I do apologize that I took 2 weeks to upload a video. Survivor Series is a week late. I'm going to try to get the R&R out right after this one. The weekly awards is now caught up, and I do want to get back to doing TikTok sooner or later. So if you're a fan of me on TikTok, Axe Entertainment, don't worry, I'll be back very, very soon. It's just, like I said, it's hectic with the holidays and moving and everything being boxed up and trying to make room and time to record these videos. But if you guys are still here and you guys are hanging with me still, I appreciate it. Will you go ahead and subscribe for me? I would really appreciate it. Like the video for me, comment if I gave any award to the wrong person, and I will see you guys in the next one. Ring the bell if you know when I draw a video like this one. Peace.
I am him, you are not, I am grim, you are lost, heating up, ovens hot, beating up all the frauds. You're a king, I'm a god, y'all got bling, I do not, cause I'm clean, y'all get clawed. On the top, y'all are frauds, at the top of my game, but still I get no fame. That's cause I would never pay for a fan to come my way.